what a good piece of bowling.
So hi everyone. So welcome to the latest episode of For the Love of the Game cricket podcast. So Asia Cup is almost here. So and
Hello.
being a World Cup here, this is a great platform. Asia Cup is a great platform to see how the squads are looking, at least the Asian countries. So I have here with me Prakash Pranav, and we have a special guest today also. Ajinkya Bhai is here with us. So thank you for joining.
Hello.
And so let's just start off. So to give a summary to the viewers, so the Asia Cup will be based on two groups, Group A, Group B. Group A is basically Pakistan, India, Nepal, and the matches will be split up between Pakistan and Sri Lanka. So that's a new venue format happening this time. And so let's begin with Group A, the India, Pakistan, Nepal group. So first of all, about Nepal, I would just like to congratulate the all the viewers and passionate people in Nepal who support their team, because I've seen in social media they're a very passionate group of people. I've seen filled stadiums, and also I think Paras Khatka is a little god over there. They all think greatly of him. So yeah, so all the best to Nepal cricket. Hope we see more of them in the coming years as well. So now coming to this India and Pakistan squad. So let's start off with the Indian squad. So I will just share my screen and then we can pick our thoughts on that. Right. Yeah. So we have this Group A. So this is the ICC website. We are just open to get a reference of the squads. So we have the Pakistan and India squad here. So if we start off with the India squad, so I think the first few names are common, like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer makes a comeback. Great news. KL Rahul is also making a comeback. So that will be solving our wicketkeeper issue, I feel. So I think the few talking points looking at the India squad will be Sky versus Sanju Samson. That is a talking point. Does Surya Kumar Yadav is getting a longer rope than Sanju Samson? So that's a talking point. And about Ishan Kishan, so is he just a backup opener, or do people see him as a middle order contender as well? And also the inclusion of Tilak Verma, right? So because Tilak Verma has been a new revelation. So if he plays, how does he fit into the team? And overall, I think the tail is a talking point of Indian team, because we are going with Akshar Patel and Shardul Thakur at the number 8 position. I think that's a necessity because we have a very long tail. So Ajinkya, you can start off here. So what are your thoughts, maybe looking at the Indian squad? So any surprises for you? Is this how you would have planned the squad
out? Looking at Indian squad, my squad was almost same as the squad picked by the selectors. The only difference was I had picked Sanju Samson in the 15, and Surya Kumar Yadav was my 16th or 17th player. Tilak Verma, I did not think that he would be in the plans at such a 11th hour, and so I had kept out of 17. Yuzvendra Chahal was my 17th player, but they opted for just couple of finger spinners and one wrist spinner in Kuldeep Yadav. So barring that, the squad looks as I expected.
Okay. So I feel one talking point will also be Yuzvendra Chahal's exclusion. Though I am not too surprised by that, because I think Kuldeep Yadav has been performing really well now, and I think Chahal's numbers are not that good last few matches as well. So maybe Prakash, so your thoughts on this squad?
When we did that Twitter poll, even I had Chahal in, and I think I got 16 out of the 17 right. I don't remember who got in rather than, I think it was
Prasidh Krishna.
Yeah, Prasidh Krishna is somebody I didn't have. Before I begin, I think personally that Prasidh Krishna and Tilak Verma will not make the World Cup 15. They are there just to the selectors telling them that you are in our thought process and you will have a future when time comes. My only problem with this squad is if Rahul is going to be keeping, then what do we do with Surya? What do we do with Gill? And what do we do with Ishan Kishan? Because, if let's say, for instance, Rahul is going to be the keeper, you
Okay.
have to open with Gill and Rohit. Kohli at 3, 4 becomes Iyer, and then you have Rahul at 5, or maybe, Rahul at 4 and Iyer at 5. Surya doesn't fit into this equation because 6, 7 is with Hardik and with Jadeja.
Right.
So that is the sort of conundrum. Now, all these videos that are coming out of the practice sessions that have been held, it looks like Rahul is going to keep. That's what the sort of message we are being given. I don't know if he is the right keeping. Look, I've been a keeper all my life since I've been playing a little bit club cricket. I'm a firm believer that a keeper should be somebody who keeps. T20 separate, 50 overs is separate. So that's the only place where I think we'll have a problem. Other than that, every player picks himself.
Okay. Yeah, fair point. So I feel that the squad, the team 11 more or less picks itself. Like I think the one important thing we got out of the press conference, which Agarkar and Rohit Sharma did, was they focused on flexibility, right? So I think the top 3 is fixed, and from there on you can see anything. Maybe Aksar coming up someday, Pandya coming up, or something depending on the match situation. So that is something to note out of the press conference. So Pranav, yeah, your thoughts on this squad and what do you make of the Sky versus Samson thing?
I think, first of all, the squad was pretty much on the expected lines. That if Iyer and Rahul are fit, they pick themselves. The return of Prasidh Krishna is good to see because when Shami's bowling was on a decline in ODI cricket, though he has been an exceptional bowler, Prasidh was proving himself up, and he had an average of 22, which is pretty impressive before getting unfortunately injured, and that too a back. So having him back is good, and I think he will be one of the traveling reserves for the World Cup. I would slightly disagree with what Prakash said because you have to have that extra pacer in your squad. Say, for example, if you're playing in Eden Gardens, that too against South Africa, who have their base as Cape Town. The wickets bounce a lot there, so probably you want to have that extra cushion of Prasidh Krishna in the side. Maybe not as a main 15, but maybe in the 17 or 18 that they carry. About keeping, I firmly believe that KL Rahul will start, and Agarkar also echoed the same sentiments. It's because after KL Rahul took the wicket keeping role, he has been phenomenal at number 5, and I think Ajinkya Bhai knows better about the stats at number 5. You pick KL Rahul, and that sort of gives you a balance of around players who can bat around KL Rahul. So if you have 3 down and you have KL Rahul and Pandya batting, you have that sort of stability in the middle order. And I think the key for India in this World Cup will be the middle order, because you have players who can tackle spin well, who you have players who can tackle pace well, but how do they gel around, how do they play as a team, as a unit, will be tested in the Asia Cup. About Tilak Varma, I think it's in order to provide that sort of stability as a left-hander. You want that left-handed option in the middle order. It's nothing else, and I don't see him making the World Cup squad either. It's just because they want to try something different, and also because Tilak bowls a little bit. That's gone in his favor, and Chahal not being in the World Cup plans either, it was right to drop him from the side and get an extra batter. I would have been happy if it was Sanju Samson, but they've gone for Tilak Varma. They might have thought something. Talking about Surya, I think it will be when they play Ishan Kishan, they will play Surya. That's how I see it. So in certain matches, if they want, say against Nepal, they want, say, Rohit Sharma and Ishan Kishan opening and Gill not playing, then Surya will play and Rahul will rest. So that Ishan can keep, Surya can play in the finisher role, and everybody bats a position up. So Hardik probably bats at 5, Surya bats at 6, Jadeja bats at 7. So that's how I see it. So they want to try Kishan in such a role that he doesn't bat beyond number 2. He's just a backup opener, and if at all something happens to the keeper, God forbid, then Ishan Kishan will play, but only as an opener, and the makeshift arrangement will be that Surya bats at 6. That's how I see it.
Yeah, fair point. So I think the two critical players like in this squad has to be like Hardik Pandya, and obviously Jasprit Bumrah is returning from a long injury layoff. So I think this Asia Cup will be a major test for him, how his back holds up and how is everything against like in high pressure situation matches and all these things. So that will be a good test for him. And also why I said Hardik Pandya is because yes, his like batting will definitely be a key factor. But I think if he can manage 10 overs or maybe 8-9 overs like in the game, so I think that will also be like very critical considering the team balance of the entire like team, because like if we have to play say Shardul Thakur at Aksar at number 8, then I think Hardik Pandya's bowling also becomes a bit critical. So I think let's see how the team like shapes up like, in the first match in the Asia Cup. So that will give us a better understanding overall. So now I think one of the major talking points for India since the last World Cup has been their tail not contributing that much compared to other teams, say maybe England or even like so other like main teams. So I think we have a like all thanks to Ajinkya Bhai. So we have a like stat regarding the tail end contributions of different teams since the last World Cup. So I would like to share that and talk about that as well. Yeah. So this is the like stat which Ajinkya like has provided us with. So if we like see into this, so what I see very clearly is that England has been a very like dominant tail contribution. Like they have a 23 average here. So rest of the teams like it's England and then the rest. There's a huge jump off between the like the rest of the teams. And one more interesting point is if we look at Pakistan. So and also we saw in the game against like Afghanistan series as well. They have decent batting depth like compared to other Asian countries, I feel. And also their like strike rates and all these boundary hitting capabilities are much higher than other teams. Looking at this stat, which is like nice to know. And one team which surprises me is Australia, because their average like we normally consider Australia to have a decent like batting depth. Like I see in this like they have a not so great average. And the talking point has to be India, because like they like as expected, I don't think any major like things here. They have a very like 15 average, and also the stats do not like are not that great. So maybe Ajinkya, you want to like talk us through this stat. So what are your like thoughts on this, and how do you see it like panning out in the Asia Cup?
When I was checking the stats, I found out that the six hitting abilities are a major factor that will be important for the tail, because you may have a poor or average numbers in average category, that won't matter much, but six and boundary rating will be important if the tail is facing limited number of balls. And in that regard, Pakistan is way ahead of others. They are almost 11 runs ahead than second placed England if we compare strike rate. And for India, it is around 81. And the 350s that India have got have come from Deepak Chahar and Shardul Thakur. So after number 8, our batting is as good as over. We saw that in the match against Bangladesh, where Siraj played out a complete over against Mustafizur and couldn't even get the bat to the ball. And because of that, needing around 40 runs in 3 overs, the equation came to 40 runs in 2 overs, after which Rohit hit some sixes and fours, but we fell short by 4 to 5 runs. I don't exactly remember the number. So batting depth should be such that at least till number 8, India should have someone who can play with the top order batter, and number 9 should be such that even if he doesn't hit, he should be able to rotate the strike.
True. Yeah. The one like very good thing you pointed out was the 6 hitting capability. Like that is like I think given the last few overs, that becomes more important than the overall average. Looking at the numbers. So yeah, so Prakash or Pranav, like your thoughts on this stat?
I'll just say one thing very quickly. Look, with regards to Pakistan, most of their cricket has been played at home. So this six hitting ability does, and before I begin, Ajinkya bhai, this is sixes and boundaries hit by the tail or by a batsman or by when the 7th or 8th, 10th wicket fell. How have you based this?
Batting order 8 to 10 position.
8 to 10 position. Okay.
8
So-
to 11. 8,
Acha.
9, 10, 11.
Understand. Okay, clear. Agreed. They are doing very well. However, what I feel is in this, England stand out because if you look at their 8, 9, 10, and 11, they've all scored first class hundreds and they've got a batting pedigree. But one thing people don't talk about England is their bowling is not that strong.
Yeah.
I would say every other team in the world has a stronger bowling attack. Okay. And especially with Ben Stokes not bowling. This stat of Pakistan can be a little bit misleading because we'll find out in Sri Lanka when the wickets actually turn, and even with India, where they're playing in Chennai and they're playing in Delhi, where they turn, I don't think they will be able to do this. But coming back to Ajinkya Bhai's point, the number 8 and number 9 need to at least know how to rotate strike. And this applies to all teams. Because if you can't do that and get stuck at one end, you're finished. So basically what I'm trying to say is we need to make sure that somebody who comes in and let's say he's batting with a regular batsman, rotating strike should do enough. If you can get a boundary or two, it's a bonus. That's my point of view. You can't do anything now.
Well, I think I agree with what Prakash and Ajinkya bhai just mentioned, and these stats obviously show that I don't know if this is the right point that I'm making, that Pakistan's top order needs work. I mean, if on an average they are hitting 24, a six every 4 overs, that means you can imagine out of 50 overs, how many overs are they trying to play? I mean, even in the Afghanistan series that they played, they were, I think, 200 or something for no loss, and then they won the game by a wicket. So Pakistan's batting order needs. I mean, it's a simple theory that I feel that if your top order is not good enough, your lower order will not always rescue you, and it is something that applies to all the teams. Even if you have 11 batters in the side, if your top order cannot fire while they are chasing a run rate of around 7.5 an over, 7.5 is the minimum these days in ODIs. And I think I would be surprised if we get to see 400 scores in the World Cup. I mean, it won't be a brainer because these days you have short boundaries as well. Like Prakash mentioned, the Pakistan pitches are a road, just like what you saw in Ahmedabad last test against Australia. So if you get wickets like that, your tailenders are bound to score. But I'm pretty sure that Vikram Rathore, who has worked with test batters who can score runs, he knows how to work with the ODI tailenders as well. I mean, I just hope that, and I have some faith in Kuldeep Yadav because he knows how to rotate strike. He has got some first class numbers, decent numbers, in fact. So I trust Kuldeep, but if they reach the level of Kuldeep in, say, they're playing, I think, 10 league matches or 11 league matches, if they get to that stage in about 5 or 6 games, then I don't think they deserve to qualify to the semi-finals. Because, again, the theory that I mentioned, if your top order is not capable enough of getting you those runs, and if you're relying on your, number 8 or number 9 batter to take you through, then it's a problem. So probably this stats highlights how Pakistan needs to work on their top order batters. But as good as their lower order is, I hope you get that thing sorted out. Even with England, if you see, their average is pretty high, which is not ideal because their bowling, England, just like Prakash mentioned, their bowling is weak, and they have players who like Shardul Thakur. I mean, they can roll their arms around and bat. So that sort of players, when you're coming to India, you need to have those spin skill sets to counter the middle overs. Because in India, I don't know, maybe Ajinkya bhai can comment more on this. Even on spinning tracks, the wicket fall in heaps. So if you have 2 wickets down, you might be suddenly 4 wickets down by the end of the next 2 or 3 overs. So you have to be prepared for that sort of situations. Probably that's where the team needs to address this issue.
I would like to add
Just
one thing.
excuse me for 1 minute.
regard-
Come back.
Yeah, Ajinkya bhai, go ahead.
Regarding Pakistan, as you mentioned that the run should come from top order. Their top order, if you take 1, 2, 3, the problem has not been the top order. The problem has been the middle order.
In the middle order,
The
yeah.
top order is scoring runs, but after they score runs and the wickets fell, the
Capitalizing
middle
is
order
not
is
there.
not getting runs at quick rate, and
Agree.
the pressure is piling on the lower
Agree,
order.
agree. Yeah.
They have been rescued on numerous occasions by Naseem Shah or
Yeah,
Nain Afridi or someone from the lower order, but
Yeah.
the middle order, and it is such that the middle order is keeping changing for them.
yeah.
It is not constant.
They have added Short Shakil recently,
Yes,
keeping that
they have
point in
changed.
mind.
They have changed the Asia Cup squad. I think one change they
Yeah.
have made.
Shakil is in.
Instead of Tayyab Tahir, they have got Short Shakil in. So that's the
Shakil.
point I'm trying to make. So basically, for any team to win the World Cup in India, the middle order has to fire. And if you take 2011 World Cup again, you had the likes of Yuvraj, you had the likes of Dhoni, you
Raina.
have the likes of Yusuf Pathan, Raina firing all guns, and even Harbhajan could bat decently. So even Ashwin could play decent hand, even though he knew how to rotate strike. So adding all those points, this chart surely shows that Pakistan needs some really some linking between their middle order and their lower middle order. In fact, the top, I think, I don't know if you guys agree with me. If you take out Babar out of this lineup, then it looks like a complete whole side. I mean, there's nothing left in that side. So
I'll
Babar
add
is
even
that.
Imam to this. I'll add
Yeah.
even Imam. Imam has recently done very well.
Yeah, so if you pick out 2 or 3 players, maybe Rizwan as well, then this side looks like a whole. So there's nobody in the side. So one of them has to keep on continuously firing. But in case of India, it's a little different. Either you have a Shubman Gill or a Rohit Sharma or a Virat Kohli or maybe KL Rahul or Hardik Pandya. So you have certain ores whom you can replace, and they can contribute, they can bail you out. So India's problem has been that they are not able to click at the same time, which is what we like to see in the Asia Cup.
Yeah, true. And one more.
Can I add a point?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Regarding Indian team, batting first has not been an issue for us
Yeah.
for the last couple of years. But while chasing, I was just checking some stats. In the past 6.5 years, we have chased just 3 matches, which were 300 plus totals successfully, and all 3 were against West Indies. So chasing, though a lot of people say that India is a good chasing side, when the target goes beyond 260, 270, the problems start arising, and 300 plus totals, which will be expected in good batting conditions, and especially with the dew. So India should be able to chase the totals, because in the games where the dew will be there, if you score 320, 325 and you lose some odd game, and while chasing, if you come across the same target and you fail to chase it, then it will be doubly problematic area for us.
Yeah, I agree with what Ajinkya Bhai is trying to say, and the average score in Pallekele has gone up through the years. It has gone up to 303 in the last 2 years, and we are playing at Pallekele most of the games. Pallekele, Kandy, whatever you call it. So it was 252 until 2017, but in the last 3 years it has gone up to 303, which is exactly the point that Ajinkya Bhai is trying to make. So if you go beyond 260 and you have to chase, especially there is no chance of dew in Pallekele in these times, but I'm not sure, because I remember Ashwin making a point that the pitches in the LPL have been phenomenal. They have been true on both the innings. I mean, if a pitch is true for 40 overs, it can stay true for 100 overs as well. And I don't know how they're planning to do it. If they are chasing a score of 6.5 runs an over, you need to plan the chase well.
Yeah. And just one more thing about this data is that I think if you look at Sri Lanka, right? So I think they also are facing a similar issue of their like top order and their middle order not like contributing that much, because yeah, even though their balls per sixes or fours are not that great, but their overall the lower order is doing a lot of batting. Like they are hitting a lot of boundaries, and
Right.
so that's also a point to note about this. Like Pakistan and Sri Lanka, both of them like have their tail contributing. That's a good news, but I think their top order and middle order needs to do a lot more, like especially for Sri Lanka as well. So right, so then now let's move back to the squads discussion again. So I will just share that. Yeah, so now back to this like ICC website. So now let's talk about this Pakistan squad. So like the top order is good. So Babar Azam, skipper, and like so more or less Fakhar Zaman also has a good record in like against, especially against India. I think he performs well, and I think the overall I think the pace attack is obviously like one to watch out for with Shaheen Afridi, like Harris Shroff, like Wasim Jr. and all these players. As Ajinkya Bhai mentioned, the middle order seems a bit of an issue with Pakistan. But overall, like I think Shadab Khan is a very like critical player for them. Like he's like holding them like both with the ball and the bat, and also he's an excellent fielder as well. So I think that like he provides a proper balance to the like Pakistan 11. And so like what are your thoughts on this like Pakistan squad? Are they like one to watch out for this Asia Cup?
Quickly on the Pakistan side, I just briefly touched upon it a little earlier that they have added Saud Shakil as the left-handed option in the middle order. But again, like I said before, they are a little over-reliant on certain players like Babar, Rizwan, uh, Imam for that matter. Also, the fact that the ball does not swing a lot in Palekele. That is another point that we need to keep in mind. It's generally a slowish wicket, and again, Shadab becomes a very key resource. Shadab, Nawaz, and Saud Shakil, if these three are playing, I think the squad which lines up as 11 is actually exactly similar to what you have for India. They have two left arm spinners in, I think Saud Shakil bowls left arm.
Shakil and Nawaz.
Yeah, Saud Shakil and Nawaz bowl left arm. Jadeja and Aksar bowl left arm. And they have a leg spinner in Shadab and we have a Chinaman in Kuldeep. So probably if you match the squad, it becomes the same. Only thing that their pace attack is a little more on fire because they have played cricket together for a little more time than what India have. But I think it will be a good contest to watch on 2nd September. Ball will not swing that a lot in Palekele. I'll keep repeating this. It's a Kookaburra ball that they are going to use, and Kookaburra does not swing beyond 5 overs on both sides. So that's just the first 10 overs that they need to negotiate. And I think it will be a treat to watch on how Rohit counters Shaheen's short balls. That will be a matchup that I look forward to.
Yep. So like let's like move on to like the Group B ones because we are like short on time a bit. So like Group B has like Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka are yet to announce their like squad, but more or less what we can expect from Sri Lanka is like good spinners, Hasaranga, like Theeksana, and like I think their batting is a bit weak. Their bowlers need to take a bit more responsibility, like in both batting as well as bowling. So that's a bit weird. But anyway, so and one team like Bangladesh, so I think Bangladesh has been performing really well in ODIs. Like that's a format they are really good in. Like and Shakib Al Hasan returns as a skipper, so that's a big talking point. And I think Litan Kumar Das is also like has been a revelation at the top of the order. So if we like remember the T20 World Cup also like in 2022, like he was like bashing like proper player we can call him. So overall, looking at the Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and Sri Lanka, this will be a closely fought group. So this we are going. I hope we see more close matches in this group. And so, like, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Like, which out of Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, which team do you think is the strongest at the moment?
Of course, Sri Lanka. And we need to, before discounting them, we need to remember that they're defending champions, although in a T20 format, but they're defending champions.
And they're playing on their home turf.
Yeah.
Just before I get into Sri Lanka, I'd like to make one very quick point about the Pakistan pace attack. Everybody goes gaga over Shaheen and Rauf, but their star has actually been Naseem Shah. The way he's
Yeah.
been, to me, he is the danger man. And we'll stop with Pakistan. We get to Sri Lanka now. They have Rajapakshas there. They've got Hasaranga. They've got a decent team. It's just about them clicking. And when they click, they're a very good fielding side. They're probably the best fielding side amongst all these teams, in my opinion, in terms of overall average on how they do. So that's one department that's taken care of. Bowling is also pretty okay. Their seam attack is fine. Their spinners do well. It comes down to the batting. For all these three teams, if the team that bats the best will go through. That's my take on the whole situation.
Quickly on the Sri Lanka side, they have delayed the announcement because a couple of players have got infected with COVID. And
Okay.
Dushmanta Chamira has got injured again, I think.
Arre baap.
So they have delayed the announcement because of that part. I'm not exactly sure who are the players who have got infected with COVID, but I think the squad should be out maybe by tomorrow or something.
Okay. And just one point about Afghanistan I would like to see is that their skippers keep changing. So like right now it's Hashmatullah Shahidi, but like few days ago it was Rashid Khan, and so I think they need a bit more stability in their thinking, in their think tanks. Like there are obviously a team with a lot of good quality, like a lot of Gurbaz and all these players, like Ibrahim, like very decent players. But I think overall, like if they can especially in crunch situations, I think they lose their head a bit. And I think if they can be a bit more calm and proper in those situations, I don't see them having a bad Asia Cup and even a World Cup. Like they can even surprise many teams. So that's something to look out for as well. So Ajinkya bhai, anything you want to add on Group B?
Regarding Afghanistan, the point you made, I guess Shahidi has been appointed as ODI captain for a long time now. Rashid Khan was T20 captain. After Asghar Afghan resigned, I guess Shahidi has been the captain. And as you mentioned, their problem has been closing out on the matches. They are in dominating position, and somehow they managed to choke or lose the match from winning position.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So one good thing that I saw in their squad is Karim Janat returns, and they realize that they are short on an all-rounder. And Karim Janat returns, who was hit for 4 sixes by a Pakistani player.
Asif Ali.
Yeah, Asif Ali. Yeah. So they have had their shares of battles, and I think you can't pick a team or pick two teams from this group who can qualify. It will be closely fought.
True.
And what I will have my eyes on is these three sides spinners will be competing each other, and I think all the burden will be on these three sides spinners, because they are mostly playing their games in Sri Lanka. So again, very interesting that the scheduling has been such that you have spin friendly wickets, and the turnaround time is pretty less between the games in Pallekele. So you have a game on 1st September, then the India-Pakistan game on 2nd September. So the turnaround time is little less. The tracks will again turn a lot. So I think these three sides spinners will decide their fate in the Asia Cup and the World Cup.
I would like to add one point regarding Bangladesh team. A name that no one mentions much or is a little bit underrated is Mehdi Hasan Miraj.
Mehdi Hasan
He has
Miraj, yeah.
improved his batting tremendously in last couple of years, maybe after COVID, and has been contributing well. And the game against India, where he took them from 69 for 7 to 271, 260 something or 270 something. So, and with his bowling as well as batting, he will be the trump card for Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
and
mini
nobody,
Shakib Bilal. He's a mini Shakib.
yeah, and nobody mentions Taskin Ahmed a lot. I mean,
Of course,
people mention Mustafiz with his left arm, but Taskin has been striking, except the fact that he has been leaking runs. But if he gets that control right, there's no danger bowler than Taskin. You know, with his
he's a
pace,
wicket
he can
taker.
rattle you.
He's a wicket
Yeah,
taking.
of course, goes for runs, but he takes important wickets, important times. Captain's bowler.
Yeah, so this is what actually makes the Asia Cup so interesting, because there are a few unknown factors as well at play here, like how are the like forms of the players, like everything. So how does the spin attacks like match up to each other? So there will be like many talking points post the Asia Cup leading into the World Cup as well. So like this is an exciting time for like cricket fans actually. And just one thing, so from For the Love of the Game cricket podcast, we are all like in support of Mancat, or as we say, like runouts, because like we would like to call it as
Yeah.
runouts, because I feel that like that's a legitimate form of dismissal, right? So yeah, we talk about spirit of the game and all these things, but like as a batter, if it's in the laws of the game, you're supposed to keep your bat on the ground, be it one of one, as we saw in the MCG match also. I think Dinesh Karthik or someone was batting, he got stumped, and Virat Kohli was still like hanging back. I think thanks to Prakash for that. Like that point, I forgot about that. So yeah, so that is something like so we all believe in that. Like the batsman shouldn't have extra advantage like of a run. So I think so no debates about that. So that's all like we had for this like episode. It was an Asia Cup special episode. So hope you guys like enjoyed watching this. And so yeah, so if you enjoy watching this, do like subscribe and share with your family and friends, and like hope to catch up really soon. And once again, thank you to Ajinkya Bhai again for like joining us. Like hopefully you enjoyed this time as well. So looking forward to catching up soon as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming, Ajinkya bhai.
Thank you.
It was my first experience and liked it.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll keep doing this more.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you guys.
All
Bye.
right. Good night,
Have a
everybody.
great-
Good night,
Yeah, have a great
viewers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.